Welcome back to the CANDYcolored Studio. I'm artist Katrina Berg, and I'm so excited for our episode 229. I have my beautiful friend Alex Reed here, and welcome, Alex.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yay. And just so you know, if you're listening in podcast land and you want to watch the video version, we're going to put it on YouTube. It'll also be on Spotify. And of course, you can find it on my website, katrinaberg.com. So again, we're so excited to have you, Alex. Alex is coming to us from Idaho. We've been longtime friends on Instagram. We get to meet up every once in a while around Swiss Days time, and I get to hang out with she and her mom and her sister and maybe sister-in-law, or is it just sisters? I don't know.
Usually just my sister, but sometimes mothers-in-laws.
Yes, it was mother-in-law. You're right.
Yeah.
So we're so excited to come together today because we have some really cool things to share with each of you. So let's just jump right in. Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, your family, where you live, anything that you want to share?
Sure. So I grew up in American Fork, Utah, and I lived there till the end of high school. Then I decided to go to BYU, Idaho, and I've never left.
It's a beautiful place.
It really is. We grew up camping up here a lot, and so I always felt like a second home anyway. So,
That's
um,
amazing.
yeah, I studied child development at BYU, Idaho. And then I was still single when I was done. And so I worked at BYU, Idaho in administration. And I was still single for a while. So I got my master's degree in organizational psychology. I bought a house. I was doing all these things, putting in motion like my future. And then I met John. So
Oh,
then
that's
we got
awesome.
married. Yeah. And we have two kids, ages 4 and 2.
That's amazing. So this is a fun time because not only are you making time for your creative life, but you're also really busy with little ones, which is also very exciting.
Yes, it's fun and busy.
Yes. Oh, that's so great. So tell us a little bit about your creative journey because obviously school did not really like line up with your creative journey. So I guess, yeah, tell us about that.
Not at all. I've always been into creative stuff, like always doodling, always drawing on back of homework, all that stuff. I have like my first grade book of stuff my teacher put together. It says in there, when I grow up, I want to be an artist. And on seriously, the back of every page, I have like extra drawings.
Oh,
Um, and then in fifth grade, I had this teacher who was really encouraging, and she would do like art competitions in class where we'd all like either draw the same thing or draw around a theme. And she would like give out prizes for art. And it was the first time I realized I could like draw something realistically by like breaking down the shadows and the highlights into shapes.
yeah.
Like, I had never had that aha moment. Like even as a fifth grader, my realism stuff was like not good. So that was really encouraging to me to be like, oh, I can draw. Okay, that's cool. Then I took classes in junior high, high school, and all my teachers were just really great. But then after high school, I kind of just stopped because I threw myself into college and
Yeah.
get told a lot that like an art career is not profitable and
Right.
not sustainable, something you is like a hobby. And I bought into that. So I studied child development because kids are another one of my passions. And my life just kind of took its course. And then when I was done with school with my bachelor's degree, I was just craving creativity so badly. I don't even know if I recognized that at the time, but I followed tons of artists and I would just watch them and like wish that I was doing that
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
But I was really scared to like pick up a paintbrush again and to like try because it'd been a long time. So I kind of started to like dabble. And then I went to an art show in the gallery on campus up here. That was Henry B. Eyring's watercolor paintings.
Nice.
And I just thought, this man is so busy,
Yeah.
like so busy, and he makes time to paint.
Right.
Like I should be able to make time to paint if that's what I want to do.
Totally.
So that kind of was a turning moment where I like at least tried. I got my paints out and thought, even if I just doodle with my paints or I make gifts for people or whatever, I can at least start doing something. And then I got pregnant and had my first baby, and I quit my job. So I was at home, and babies are tiring, but they're kind of also boring at the beginning. There's not like, they're not very interactive. You just start taking care of them and being tired. And so I thought, I really am just going to do this. So I just started, and I started with those like faceless watercolor paintings because some people wanted them done. And I was like, I think I could do that. So that's where I started, which is way different than what I'm doing now, which is fine. It got me started, right? So that's the point.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's so interesting how everybody's journey is so different, right? And there is that aspect of bravery. We have to be so courageous to do the thing that we really want to do. And all the other voices around us are saying, go to college and get a very like profitable career, like do something very, I don't know, efficient and productive and all these wonderful things. But at the same time, like, are we just going to be miserable if we don't actually do the gifts that God has given us?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, and like, yeah, it's been tricky still to like always love it. But then it's like there's nothing else I love more. So
Yeah, totally. I remember when my kids were really little, like yours, like you say, there's that lack of interaction that we're used to as adults. And so for me, just nap time, I was like, I got to do something for me. And so
yeah.
that's what I did. I just painted whenever they were sleeping, whether it's nap time or nighttime. And it really helped me get through those times where you're just like, I have this beautiful person that I talk to with my heart, but I don't really know if we're having that good of a conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
I need to express myself a different way.
Right. So you told us a little bit about what you started with. Why don't you tell everyone like your style and like the series that you've been doing lately? Because they're so fun and different and just add so much to our community.
Yeah. So like I said, I was just doing these watercolor things, just getting my like hands wet
Yeah.
and working on stuff. And then I was like, you know what? We don't have a lot of money, and I want to do Christmas presents for like all my
Right.
family. And
Right.
so I found some like wooden rounds, like real cheap on Amazon, and bought some craft acrylic paint and painted these folksy Christmas ornaments.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be a cute idea. And I loved it.
Yes.
Brought together all these things that like I knew I was good at it within the realm of art, but hadn't tapped into in a long time. Like growing up, I would fill in a piece of paper with doodles, and I would make all the shapes fit together. And it would, I don't know, it would just kind of like take me on this journey and transform. So I realized like in folk art, the whole point is to kind of like fill the space in an aesthetically pleasing way that's, symmetrical or has a bunch of like doodly designs in it. It's like
Right.
perfect for me. So that kind of set me off on this, like, I am going to just really jump into my own strengths and things that I love to do with art and stop being so worried about it looking like other people's art.
Yes.
What is popular now and I mean, and I would feel like that was 2 or 3 years ago. And I would say that I feel way more confident in that idea now,
Yeah.
having actually acted on it, but it was enough to get me to act on it, which is awesome. So I've worked on a few collections since then. I did my Redeemed collection, which was a series of mountains, mountain landscapes, and each painting represents a different aspect of like redemption and like when it's available and how it's available and how it makes you feel and um, those kinds of things. And that was really like I would paint all of those a little differently now, just
Yeah.
with the practice I've had. But the fact that it like got me in that headspace of like, I can do this and I can say what I want to say in the way I want to say it. And it doesn't matter if other people like it or not.
Yes.
It's healthy for me. So, and then I worked on, last year I worked on a collection of painted quilt blocks. And each quilt block represented a woman in my life and a characteristic that I like attach with her and how that's affected me. So like I have them for my grandmothers and their moms and my mom and my daughter. and like my husband's mom and his grandma's. And then I finished with a Heavenly Mother painting to kind of culminate everything together, but I hated it last year when I painted it. So I've redone it this year. I just finished. It's much better. But
Oh my gosh. That's
yeah.
amazing. Well, first of all, I love my mountain. And I think I have one of your earliest little wood blocks. I don't know if you remember giving me one. I can't remember if you gave it the first time that you came to my house, but, or it was maybe when I bought the mountain, or I also have
Oh
one of your
yeah.
recipe watercolors. I don't know, but I have one and it is so precious and I love it so much. It's like, it's just in my little box over there. Like I keep it with me when I paint. So I think that's so cool, like to know where those came from because I had no idea. So that's really
Yeah.
special. I'll have to dig it out and send you a picture. But
Good.
yeah, I love the fact that you're really tapping into the symbols and attributes. And that's a lot of what folk art tends to be like really, it's just gives you so many options, right? And there's
Mhm.
really, it's just so fun and like your art is fun and whimsy and bright and happy and yet very like thought provoking, which I love. So,
Yeah, I think I've just realized even this last week, like I didn't realize how much, I mean, I knew it about myself, but I it didn't like wasn't conscious until recently that
sure.
I love symbolism.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing the watercolor portraits, it was fine, but I really don't love painting people. Like I like art where that is symbolic and like using things that we are like a parable or like a story where it's things that are familiar, but it can teach you so many things and it can mean so many different things to different people.
Mhm. Totally. I
Yeah.
love that. Oh, so here's a good question. You're the perfect person to ask this. I have people ask me all the time, you know, whether they're just finishing high school or whether they kind of do want to do a switch like you. They did all their schooling and then they realize their heart's telling them that they want to do art. So what kind of
Yeah.
advice would you give them now that you've kind of taken this road?
I think my biggest advice, like if you're considering school, the thing to think about is like, is that really for you?
Yeah.
Do you like a structured setting for your creativity? Do you like
Right.
someone giving you structured feedback
Uh-huh.
all the time and having their own opinion on what you make?
Right.
'Cause some people thrive in that. They really like
Right.
that setting.
Uh-huh.
I tried to do a photography minor in college, and I haven't touched a camera in like 10 years because it killed my creativity.
Sure.
It was so hard for me to feel like I could do what I wanted because I knew there was a grade attached to it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So some, like I said, some people really thrive in that. And if that's you, that's so awesome. And like go do it. And if you want more of like a traditional art background and like traditional techniques and things like that, like
Mhm.
do it.
Yeah.
That just wasn't gonna work for me.
Oh, I think that's so smart because it's true. There, are you creating your art for a grade and to
Yeah.
please one professor, or are you creating the art that's within you? And Alex, you're such a good example of creating the art that's within you because if you would have done that art in college, you would have been really lucky if you found a professor that was like, yes, keep going, Alex, because a lot of them, they only
Yeah.
want you to create art in a certain way. And that's just really, really hard because if what I've found is that the artists that are really truly successful are the ones that are creating with their own language, which you
Yeah.
are doing. And how do you teach that as a professor? You can't tell someone how to do that. All you can do is support and encourage them, but that's not usually they feel like that's too easy. Why would they do that? Right. They
Yeah.
feel like they have to give you all this technique and criticism and all those
Yeah.
things. And so I think that's such a good thing to consider. First of all, are you the person that's going to enjoy college and that structure? And are you okay? Just like, I hate to say yes, man, but do you want to be a yes artist and just do what everybody tells you to do? And that's
Yeah.
fine. If that's
Yeah.
you, then go do it. But if you're not, if you're like Alex, you probably just got to do something different, right? That's so good. I love asking this question because everyone totally comes up with different things. So I guess, yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to share about this topic?
The other thing I would say, like if you are just thinking about being an artist in general, um, like I didn't have any formal training other than like high school and like the things that we learned, they introduce you to a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
And it's my own experimentation. And I feel like some people say, you have to like learn the rules to break the rules in art.
Mhm, mhm.
I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
I feel like if you have something you want to say and there's a specific way you want to say it, then to like do that. Be
Amen.
creative however you want. I mean, there are some rules as far as like how paint works
Yeah,
and how it dries, but like sometimes maybe you want to use it incorrectly on purpose. That's totally fine. So
exactly. Oh, I
that's like
like that.
my biggest takeaway having jumped into this is I'm just gonna do what I want to do.
Right,
That's
right.
how I want to express what I'm trying to say.
That's so perfect. Thank you. I love all those suggestions. So, going back to your kids,
Yeah.
so this is a busy time for you. And spoiler, it never like, I remember a cute mom that was a little bit older than or her kids were older. She's like, I know you think this is such a hard time in life, but I promise you it gets harder. And I was like, what? So I would say there's different challenges, obviously, when they get older. So we constantly have to choose to make time to create and to follow our passions. So what are some of the hard choices that you have made just to make sure that you have that time to pursue your passion?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones is like housekeeping.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
house. I mean, they're both in toddler age,
Yes.
so they're tornadoes through the house, getting into lots of stuff. So like I would love to have a more structured schedule, and
Uh-huh.
I would love to have more organized home. And like this is what we do every day, and we pick up every day. And at the beginning of the year, I was really good at that, but I didn't have the pressure of like finishing my pieces.
Right.
So the
Right.
last few months when I'm like, okay, I really want to get this done for these summer shows,
Yeah.
that's kind of gets put on the back burner.
Totally.
Like, also, I feel like it's so hard to balance my desire to be a good mother and my desire to like create. And I know that they can go together, and sometimes it works really well together. And sometimes it's like, okay, for me to be an okay mom, you need to watch an hour of TV so that I
Right.
can get this out of my brain and
Uh-huh.
we can come back together and we can like play and
Yeah.
make dinner and all those things. But then sometimes I feel guilty about that, that they had an hour of
Uh-huh.
screen time when we could have been doing something else. So it's just a whole juggling act all the time, as you know.
Oh, yeah. And you're right. That is the biggest problem is the whole mom guilt that comes in. I
Yeah.
remember feeling that. I still feel it from time to time, but because they're a little bit more independent, I could be like, it's time to go outside.
Yeah.
Go play outside for a while. And but at the same time, that's a little bit harder, during the winter or like there's always going to be challenges. But I think recognizing that you're going to feel that guilt from time to time and just recognizing, okay, there's going to be hard moments, right?
Yeah.
But if you just
Mhm.
keep working on it, like you're gonna keep doing amazing things. So well done. Like seriously, just good job. Just hang in there. You're doing good things. Okay, so one of the reasons why we wanted to talk today was because you have started an Idaho art market. And tell us a little bit because I feel like Idaho, I'm always hearing from other artists. For those of you that are listening in a different state, so Utah, for whatever reason, we have several market options, lots of art shows. And so we actually do get quite a few artists coming from out of state, from Arizona, California, Idaho, even Colorado. I have friends from all of those states that will regularly come and do shows here. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe give us a little background about, because I know that's how you and I met. Like you started doing shows down here. Maybe it was just Instagram, but you also were doing shows down here. So give us a little background of like the need and just basically your environment.
Okay, well, yes, we live in East Idaho, which is wonderful farming land. I think the biggest city around is like maybe we made it to 60,000 people.
Yeah.
That's where we have to go to do any shopping more than Walmart or the grocery store.
Right.
So I've always been really like I've always attended Swiss Days. like since I was little.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I've loved just the whole feel. It's so fun to go with your girlfriends, look at all these unique hand created stuff that people make, so creative. So it's always been like an inspiration to me. And so I love going to anything like that. And living here for the past 13 years, however long it's been, um, I'm like okay with not having shopping or like dining options. It's okay. Like we can drive a little bit or whatever if we need
Right.
to. But not having like fine art shows or like
Right.
handcrafted shows has been kind of tough, even as
Yeah.
before I was doing art, like not being able to go to some of those
Uh-huh.
or having to travel 4+ hours to get to one.
Right.
Like I either have to go to Utah or Boise or wherever, but there hasn't been anything here.
Yeah.
There is one like festival in Idaho Falls, so that's only a half hour away. Um, that's run by the art guild down there. That does a pretty good job. But like other than that, like that's it.
That's it.
That's once a summer. Anything else is hours away. And so I was just feeling kind of down about that because it really limits, especially with my small kids, like what I can participate in if
Mhm.
I have to travel all the time. And so I just thought, like, why not? Why couldn't I put one on?
Mhm.
So I started thinking about that. I have another friend that I actually met on Instagram who then moved here. And so we, we connected when I released my redeemed collection. She came over to my house. And so I just thought, well, there's an art friend here that I have now. So I just asked her, her name's Shelby Thane, if she would like help me or be interested in doing something like that. And then we thought it would be like years out from that conversation. But like a few months later, we were talking, and we're like, why don't we just do it?
Yeah.
Last year in May, we decided to just do it, put it
So
together.
great. So great.
So that's how I was born. It went really well last year. We had like 30 artists and like 500, 600 people come. And I mean, like original pieces were purchased, just like things I wouldn't have expected from some of the
Sure.
people who live here.
Yeah.
Because it's
And
been a very like frugal, do it yourself. It's
right.
like not a necessity. And so that's been the culture in this area for a long time.
Mhm.
But I have felt a huge shift. Like it's just coming. Like I feel this change coming for better or worse. Some people would think it was not good, but we have lots of people moving here from different places.
Yeah.
And I think some of the longtime residents are even beginning to just like see the need for like beauty and beautiful things
Yeah.
and ways to express ourselves, especially with like the pandemic and all these things that have happened that have like isolated us. Now it's time to kind of come together as a community. And the city art department has grown and it's led by a visionary who's really excited to like build Rexburg up and make it an art community. So we're kind of like at the ground level. It's kind
Wow.
of like all these different people with different influence started thinking really similarly at the same time. So we started the art market and the city started a bunch of art programs. And there's a few other organizations around town that have started new things. So we're really excited to just like get it going and see how it grows.
That's amazing. I totally I got a little emotional when you said that you're feeling the shift. I just
Yeah.
think that's so beautiful. And you're right. The pandemic, as hard as it was, it really did help us look at each other, our homes a little bit differently and just kind of focus on what really matters most. And like you say, it's good to be frugal and it's good but it's also okay to save up for something we really care about, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing. And look at the opportunities that you're offering your community, even if they just want to come and look. If
Yeah.
all they want to do is come and partake in that beauty that one day, what a
Mm,
gift that you're giving them, right? That's
yeah.
awesome, Alex.
Fun.
That's so cool. Okay, so tell us, okay, you're going to do another one this summer. Are
Yes.
you doing two, just the one? Is it August?
Yeah. August 26th.
Okay,
And it's an outdoor market. We still have a few spots open for artists and food vendors, actually.
cool.
Um, Yeah, we've got all sorts of people. So there's people who are doing ceramics, people who've got they like do rock tumbling and make jewelry and stuff out
Yeah.
of the rocks that they source. Got painters. There's a really cool guy in town who does poetry and then like he calls them amateur watercolor paintings with them. It's really cool.
That
So
is
we've got
so cool.
lots of different kinds of artists.
Okay.
Um, and then we do a holiday market as well.
Good.
That is not outside.
Yes, yes. So you did the May and then you did a holiday,
Uh-huh.
right? And so now you're doing August and then you'll do a holiday. And
Yeah.
so I guess, so obviously it's just going to be one day for the
Yeah.
August
Mhm.
26th. And what are the times for people that want to come?
It's from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay. And then for the artists that want to apply, they just need to go on the website, right?
Yes. Yeah. And
Which,
that's just eastidahoartmarket.com.
okay. And then Alex also has an Instagram for it that you can look
Yes.
for.
Yeah. And that's east underscore Idaho underscore art underscore market.
Okay. And I bet if they just put in those keywords, it'll pop right up.
Yeah.
Or you guys could just go to Alex's Instagram and maybe
Mhm.
we should tell them your personal Instagram.
Oh, yeah. That's alexereed.art.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I have
Perfect.
it linked on there in my bio, I think.
Right. And then also, we should also give them your personal website. Is that okay?
Yeah. So that's alexereed.com.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then are there other places that they should be following you to stay up to
You can
date?
get on my email list,
Yeah.
both email lists for the market and for my personal stuff on the website.
Perfect. Perfect.
And then I'm going to be doing the art around the square in Midway.
Yes.
What is that next? Not next week, but the week after. June
Yeah.
30th or July 1st is when it starts.
And
And
then it
then
ends on the 4th of July, maybe. I can't
yeah.
remember. Yeah, the 4th of July.
hmm And then I'm doing a show in Idaho Falls, the one that the Art Guild puts on, and that's July 22nd. And then I'll be at the East Idaho Art Market with my own stuff
That's
at
wonderful.
in
So
August.
yeah, you're right. It's going to be a big summer for you, but that's going to be
Yeah.
so exciting. Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
for those of you that are local, the Art Around the Square is in conjunction with Wasatch Plein Air. I should say
Yeah.
it's in conjunction, but it's similar people running it. It's at the exact same time. So
Yeah.
you kind of get to come and you get to come and partake in two different events. And the artists that do the Art Around the Square, they each have their own booth. They will be there. You get to meet them. They'll be there the whole time. So it's very exciting. But if you want to go to the East Idaho market, you'll need to just plan on August 26th. It's just one day. So just put that in your calendar. And then I am curious, do you ever I know some of the markets here have started putting stuff like on stories or Instagram that people can buy online later or even during the show. Like, have you guys got that far yet? Is that something that you want to do eventually?
Yeah, I think that's more in the future. We want to
Okay. So yeah,
push
so
that.
people need to follow you even if you're not going to be planning on going to East Idaho, get on there, start
Yeah.
following now, make it, put it on your calendar, put it in your purview so that you
Yeah.
can get to
I mean,
participate.
even just to discover some like new artists, because
Totally.
we've got local artists that haven't like they're at the beginning stages too, have really awesome
Right.
stuff, but they haven't like pushed it out too far yet. So that's
Yes.
fun, like a new way to discover some other artists.
Totally. And East Idaho is always a good place to go during the summer, especially the end of August when it's super hot and you don't want to be anywhere else. This is a great opportunity to spend a weekend up in the beautiful land where Alex lives. So
Yes. The
definitely.
market will be, let's see, how far away are we? It's like 2 hours from Yellowstone, 2 hours from Grand Teton
Oh,
National Park.
see? Yeah.
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 So
So
if you
even
want
if you
to
want to plan a
with
trip,
me, yeah.
yeah, if you're already going to go to one of those places, definitely add the East Idaho market on your travel itinerary. That would be so great. Oh, this is so exciting. First of all, I'm just so happy and just happy for you, happy for all the artists there, happy for your community that's there. And just like we have so many artists coming here to Utah, I hope that it will become a trend that the artists will all go to yours. And that will be so amazing. So, anyways, we're excited. Alex, thank you so much for coming, for sharing your heart, for being so real and honest and just for being brave. We're just so grateful for you and for all that you do.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. I love
Yeah.
talking to you always.
Oh, well, I love you too. And this has been awesome. So thank you, Alex, and thank you, listeners. And please let us know if you get to go to the market, and we would love to hear about your experiences. Make sure you share about it on social media. So, okay. Well, thank you so much. And we're gonna sign off here from the Candy Colored Studio in Alex's studio in Idaho. Much love to all, and have a great day.
Yeah.
Okay.